Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Welcome to part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of August 8th through August 12th. And here we'll talk about all of our top swing trading stocks to watch. We'll talk about what individual stocks. We'll take a look at analysis of those, what's in our bullpen, our shopping list. We'll look at a number of ETFs, etc. So all based on our market analysis and all the data we gathered in part 1 yesterday. So if you have not already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, titled Stock Markets Breakout or Fake Out, we would highly recommend that you view part 1 as well. So we'll get started with part 2, and again, looking at our individual stocks for this week. So I'm using a new laptop for streaming and recording, and hopefully this will perform better. If somebody in the chat could give me a thumbs up. Welcome, DS Greg. Glad to see you in the for our live stream today. Spacula, thank you again for all your support. Glad to see you again today. DS Greg's in Middle Tennessee, huh? That's cool. Good, great, glad to hear it. So again, we'll get started. First, I'll go through a couple of our trades from last week. Not terribly active, but we did have a couple that finally were profitable and we got stopped out. The first one was our position in big lots. You can see we got stopped out. On the second, we entered this trade on the 28th. You can see we made a nice profit, greater than a 9% ROI or an equivalent monthly ROI of about 55%. So congratulations to all of our fellow BeachBum traders who also profited from this additional swing scalp trade in big lots. You know, this is the second or third time recently that we've swung big lots, and again, we'll continue to keep an eye on big lots to see if it comes back down to a support level, and we'll keep doing this until it breaks out and runs back up again. The Thesis, you know, it's a discount store. They had some issues with their inventory. They fired their inventory director, and we think there's an opportunity for a catalyst. So again, if we get a chance to swing big lots, again, we'll take a shot at that. Good morning, Walter. Glad to see you. Thank you for joining us. Also, a very long-term swing we've had for quite a while was KTOS. KTOS is a defense and drone stock that we had. We bought it back in May at 1501. It went down. We've been holding it for a while. It finally swung back up, but then it rolled over and stopped us out. So it didn't make a consistent run. So we made a very small profit on that, but you know, we got our money back, and we'll continue to watch and see if KTOS comes back down to a support level again. So congratulations, it's possible. Some of our other BeachBum traders actually made a better profit if you were able to buy this back lower. So again, congratulations if you made money on that swing as well. Just a quick reminder, if you want to get these kind of real-time alerts on any trades that we make, you can join our Patreon. We email them out to our Patreon as soon as we can, and then we also post them in the Patreon channel under the alerts category in our Discord. You can see an invite to our Discord in the description box below. So again, we have a number of alerts. Some are automatically triggered from Thinkorswim, a price alert, and then if we actually take action on that, then we will post an update in that Thinkorswim alerts category. And otherwise, if it's just a position that we take, not based on Thinkorswim alert, we'll post in the trade alerts, and this will also get auto posted from some of our automation as well. So again, if you want to get alerts on our trades, again, this is not financial advice. We don't recommend that you blindly follow us or anyone in trading. We highly recommend that you have your own system, but this will tell you, you know, what we see, what we're doing, if you want to take advantage of those opportunities. So Don't have any specific lessons learned. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat as well. So if you have any questions in particular as we're going along, I'll try to address them either right away or later in our questions and answers at the end. Also, please stick around to the end of the video. I've got some updates, some trade ideas that I want to share, and some updates to our ETF spreadsheet that I hope will help as well. So all based on kind of our strategies from part one. So I'll quickly talk about, I don't have a lot of changes to our watch list for this week. So I'll just quickly go through what we have. We have BVN, which again is Peruvian gold, silver, lead, zinc, copper, etc. This has some relationships to EV batteries. We've swung these guys before. We'll see it's a little above my price target right now, but we're watching it and hopefully get an opportunity on a dip in gold. Thank you again for all your support and help, Spacula. It's great having you here. I couldn't keep up with a lot of this myself without you, and again, it's greatly appreciated. EURL is a ETF based on, you see it's a leveraged ETF based on the European stock market. We think there's it had dipped down. If you watch part one for the past couple weeks, you can see the European stock markets and the euro had declined. We kind of missed this initial bounce. We're looking for an opportunity to catch another bounce. You'll see the dollar's gotten strong again, so we may get an opportunity with this European stock market. The Brazilian one we were also watching on a recommendation from another trader. It was a good recommendation. Unfortunately, it's already run up. So we're going to let that one go for now. We'll revisit that if we see an opportunity there. FONR. We moved this up from the bullpen on the 2nd, as it looks like it is achieving a support that we'll see when we look at it in Weeble in a second. And we'll see if we can get out. This is a profitable medical device MRI company. I don't know if I should do a due diligence on them or not, but we'll see. Cold, this is our, one of our favorite plays for scalping natural gas, shorting natural gas. The inverse of cold, if you want to go long natural gas, is boil. We're looking for to short natural gas if it does ever hit its 52-week high again at 966, and we would actually have an order sitting out to capture that peak on cold again. ULE, again, we saw opportunities in the euro, decline the euro. It went below parity with the dollar. The dollar is strengthening again based on the strong payroll numbers, etc., that we saw in part one. If we do get that, near parity dip in the euro, again, we would go long the euro using this leveraged ETF, ULE. USOI is the ETN, the Credit Suisse ETN on oil, very similar to GLDI, which is we hold a sizable position in GLDI. These guys all pay monthly dividends, so even if it declines a little bit, you have to wait to take profits on the stock price or the ETF price. You're collecting a nice monthly dividend. This guy, as you can see, it pays 22% yearly dividend yield. So very nice yearly dividend. We'll look at this. I'll show you how it continues to decline, even though oil is in the high 80s range, testing 90. I'm going to take Yang off of our real-time watch list. It's tracked in our ETF spreadsheet, and my automation automatically tracks a list of those ETFs and sends me alerts when those move up or down. And so I don't really need to have it on my real-time watch list. Again, as we talked about in part one and the past several weeks, there's often day trade scalping opportunities swinging the Chinese tech stocks up and down using Yang and Yen. They tend to gap up or down at 4 a.m. and then you can see the direction that China tech is running. And to answer your question, DS Greg, as to what Patreon level produces the trade alerts, is any of the Patreon levels will give you access to all the trade alerts channels, as well as you'll see our ETF spreadsheet, etc. So all the Patreon levels currently give you access to all of the benefits. So exclusive access to our videos, etc. So right now we don't have individual benefits just for alerts. It's, whatever kind of support you're willing and able to provide is greatly appreciated. None of it is required. We provide all this content for free. Just a few of the additional elements like the alerts and the ETF spreadsheet, and we'll have some other things, possibly some code, etc., as future benefits for our Patreons as we're able to. Good morning, Tanavir. Thank you for joining us in the live stream, and we greatly appreciate it. Another thing that the Patreon does give you is access to our daily updates to our watch list. So if we make any updates to our watch list, there's a web page that as a Patreon you would have access to with our daily watch list, as well as any updates in this watch list channel. And again, if we make changes to our watch list inter-week, we would post it to this channel. But again, now our Patreons have access to a HTML page, a web page that is updated daily. At the end of the day, when I update my watch list, we regenerate that web page, and our Patreons have access to that. How often, Specula's asking a question. I'm assuming he's asking of Walter. How often do you take swing or long-term trades or scalps, etc.? I guess that's a question for Walter from Specula. So now we'll quickly look at our watch list, our real-time watch list in Weeble. Again, this is the online browser version of Weeble. I'm on the stock screen. I have my real-time watch list selected. Just a quick reminder is Weeble has recently upped their free stocks offer from 6 to 12. They've had a 6 free stock offer since their anniversary, their 4-year anniversary. They recently bumped it up to 12. I don't know how long that's going to last, but you can get 12 free stocks right now by signing up for Weeble. You get 2 just for signing up, each valued up to $300. And on a deposit of any amount, even a penny or a buck, you get from 4 to 10 free stocks, each valued up to $3,000. Again, Weeble is our favorite trading platform, gives you trading from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. So again, I love the opportunity to be able to catch those 4 a.m. gappers, etc. To answer your question about DS Greg, is the Weeble desktop trading platform more intuitive than TOS? I prefer the online Weeble version, and I do think it's easier to use than Thinkorswim. I do use Thinkorswim. I don't do any trading. I just use it merely for watching charts, and I used to use it for data collection. We're getting away from that. And using other alternative methods for data collection. I do like it. I prefer Weeble, but I do use Thinkorswim a little bit. The desktop version of Weeble, in my humble opinion, is not as intuitive as the online version. And right now, I only use the desktop version for placing options trades. For some reason, and maybe I just don't know how to do it, I don't use the mobile version at all of Weeble. And for some reason, I don't think you can place new options trades through the online browser version. I could be wrong. I maybe just don't know how to do it, but I always go to the desktop version to do covered calls. So, and on options expiration, then I go and set up all my covered calls again, reset my covered calls. So I hope that helps. So to quickly again whip through what's in our real-time watch list, I'll sort this by symbol. So here's BVN, which is that Peruvian miner. You can see it's hovering above the price target that I'd like. That seemed to be a pretty good support. It doesn't seem to be breaking down any further, so that's a good sign. So if it comes down here somewhere again and then swings back up, we'd take a crack at BVN. EURL, again, this is this Europe. You see we kind of missed that initial bounce. It's bounced up, might be rolling over. We'll see. I was thinking about taking it off. I thought with the pressure on the euro, etc., we might get a dip that we could buy. We'll see. FONR, again, this is this medical device one. We put it in the game from the bullpen. Looks like it's achieved, had kind of a double bottom around this 1440 area. We'll see if we get a little dip. Might have to buy it up at 1440 rather than my price target a little bit lower, but here's cold. Natural gas has been very volatile, up and down, almost like it could swing 5% in a day. So if you're more nimble than I am, just be careful. It is very volatile, but it's been swinging up over, near 9 and then down to into the 7s. So again, if you're a nimble day trader, scalper, good opportunities, just be careful because it is very volatile. And we have a long-term short at a much higher price in cold that we're holding on to, waiting for an eventual, complete decline. I don't know if we'll get it before the winter or not, so we'll see. Here's the euro. It looks like, we might get a crack at this bounce. We missed the initial bounce. Looks like we might get another shot if the dollar goes near parity again. And then here's USOI. I'm going to zoom this guy out to a year. You can see kind of where my price target is much lower at a longer term support. As oil, it's still sitting about 88. So even though this guy continues to decline, I'm watching the price of oil and see where it bottoms and stabilizes to then pick my price on USOI. And again, that's the monthly dividend. I'd love to have a big chunk of that guy, but we'll see. Catching up on the chat. You guys are having a good discussion. Love to see that. I love to see the BeachBum trading community support each other, help each other out. So bullpen stocks, again, we got stopped out of big lots, so we're going to put big lots back in the bullpen. It's still a little high to put it in the real-time support. If you're kind of new to our channel, the concept of a bullpen is stocks that we're not watching in real time, but we revisit them at the end of the day, see if it presents a better setup. If so, we put it in the game, move it up to our real-time watch list. If it runs away or breaks down through support, then we'll take it out of the bullpen and revisit it later. I have other queries that will pick it back up if it presents a good risk-reward profile. Others we've had on the bullpen for a while is Clicks. This is long online retail, short brick and mortar retail. ECH is a Chilean ETF. It's on the Chilean market. It was, again, a possible option. We talked about FONR. We put that in the game, so we took it out of the bullpen. And then Pitney Bowes. We put that guy back in the bullpen on 728 because it had very disappointing earnings. It had run up a bit. We'd taken it off, and now based on those bad earnings, he's kind of in the penalty box right now, so we're waiting for it to stabilize at a support. We have a due diligence video on. It is a turnaround play, and you can listen to that due diligence and hear our thesis on why we think Pitney Bowes might be a good turnaround play and also offers a dividend. It's a relatively small dividend, but their board seems to be pretty dedicated to upholding that dividend. And then we've been talking about treasuries. I know Tanavir was looking at TLT. We talked about TLT and TMF last week. We're still keeping an eye on it. It's been pretty volatile. The prices or the yields on treasuries was going down, and then when we got the strong payroll report, they jumped back up to near 3% again. And with higher interest rates expected, we expect the yields to go up, which will drive treasury prices down. I also heard that the Fed has not really been buying as aggressively yet. So, but they do want to reduce their balance sheet, their quantitative tightening. So they're selling treasuries. They just haven't been real aggressive in that. So that would be downward pressure on treasuries. So we'll take a quick look at our Bullpen and Weeble. Again, short list. Here's big lots. You can see our trade. We got in around the 28th, around 1880. We swung it up. Then, it rolled over a little bit, stopped us out. We took our profits. Now it's indecisive whether it's going to continue up or it's going to roll over. So when it rolled over here, we took our profits. We got a nice profit out of it, and we'll see if we can get another opportunity on it. Here's that online retail guy. It looks like it's kind of running away. Might have to give up on that guy in the near future, but with like Walmart having issues and Target, etc., I thought there'd be an opportunity in that guy. There isn't an ETF to just short retail alone, so that's the only opportunity that I could find to short retail. So Tenebers, we'll look at where TLT is sitting. It's been very volatile, so yeah, I don't have a strong feel. We'll look at TMF a sec. So here you can see TMF's been kind of chopping around, so that's very similar to TLT. If I look at TLT here, again, in Weeble, you can just search for anything. You can see I've got it in my ETF watch list as well. So you can see TLT's been chopping around too. It's sitting at a support level. So if it breaks down through the support, a put might be okay. But again, the volatility, and we've got CPI data on Wednesday. We've got PPI data. I would expect, more chop, more volatility until we get a direction. So I can't make a clear recommendation on that. Again, I'm watching that TMF to see when the trend picks a direction, then we can have a more definitive position on treasuries or bottoms. That's what I'd really like to see. So I hope that helps. So we looked at clicks. ECH, again, is kind of run up. I may have to just take it off. It may have run away, but it looks like maybe it's going to roll over. We'll see. Here's Pitney Bowes. You can see that precipitous drop on earnings, been trailing off. When it finally gets a stable bottom, again, I think it's a long-term swing. Turnaround play, but again, long term. Right now, they're going to be in the penalty box probably till the next quarter, and then we'll have to see if they're turning it around yet or not. So now I'll jump over to my ETF spreadsheet, and again, you can find these notes. There's a link in the description box below. And or in the comments. I might have to put it in the pinned comments, but there's a link to this Google Drive folder where we have our trading game plan notes. So you can see the notes from our previous weekly trading game plans, get access to these links, etc. So I'm going to click on our spreadsheet. And I'll just start. We'll just quickly whip through some of these guys, and I'll explain a little bit of how this works very quickly. Most of you guys in the chat right now, I think you're familiar with this, but someone new to the video might not be. If there's something in particular, a particular category you want me to focus on, please let me know. I know we'll look at treasuries again a little bit. To answer your question, DS Greg, is Spacula knows something about these discussion areas in Weeble. I have never been in them. Apparently, he's posted some comments there. I would defer to Spacula as the expert in Weeble discussion areas. So I don't know if it has it for ETFs. So if you can't get a response from Spacula here in the chat, I would recommend hitting him up in the Discord, tag him in the Discord and ask that question. And maybe someone else knows as well. So one of the things, and we talked about this a little bit in part one about whether we're seeing a breakout or a fake out, is, when we got the payroll numbers, we saw some reactions, and that, bond yields went up, the dollar strengthened, tech got hit, and I was very tempted to jump on SARK, which is a short on ARK. ARK had been running up. Also, I'll show you some of the shorts on NASDAQ. I was a little hesitant just from the risk reward profile and the fact that I'm not really a day trader. But I think that there was an opportunity there, and I was very tempted to jump on SARK and SQQQ and FANG-D, which are three of the ways that you could short the NASDAQ. So if you are a day trader, a scalper, you're more nimble than I am. Those are ways that if the NASDAQ is going to roll over and go down based on the strengthening dollar, higher yields, etc., those are three ways that you can short the NASDAQ. So we can see, it looked pretty attractive, but the price, is significantly higher from the bottom. And above the support level. Looks like I might have to zoom that in a little bit to get a better view. There we go. Now we can see the support and resistance as well. So we see it was 49, support at 42. So that's what I was looking at. So how this guy works is these are using Google Finance functions. It's looking at the price, the 52-week low and high. Others of these, the support and resistance, bottom and top, I'm pulling from my database and updating them at the end of the day based on some automation that we have. And then the green, the risk reward, the RR columns are risk reward, which is the distance of the price from either the support and resistance in terms of the first column, or the 52-week low and high, or the bottom and top in terms of the third risk reward profile. And then I'm looking for a risk reward profile of 2 or better. So the greens are if it's 2 or better risk reward. So I can quickly whip through these guys and see what looks attractive near term, longer term, etc. So again, if there's a specific category you want me to focus on, a lot of the commodities had been declining. The dollar-denominated commodities are pressured due to the strong dollar. And we'll look at SPX, we can look at the S&P ETFs as well. So, okay, emerging markets. I was kind of looking at some of these. Again, it's kind of far. The risk-reward profile is not all that great. It's not my 2-to-1. So right now I was looking at opportunities there. Gold, if you're not, already long any gold, they're showing some opportunities where we have a large position in GLDI. So let's see this. Okay, so here's the NASDAQ. These are leveraged ETFs to long and short the NASDAQ. So you can see it was offering, but it's significantly above support. So there's, a decent amount of risk. And that's kind of why I didn't go after it, is the fact that I'm not all that nimble. But again, if you are, it was presenting a pretty good risk reward if you're watching and watching closely and can nimbly put your stops in, etc. Play the momentum while it lasts. And the Nasdaq did chop around on Friday, so it dipped and then it recovered. So here's cold and boil, ways to play natural gas. Oil, very similarly, we typically long using Gush or UCO. That's oil miners or oil producers, and the WTI price itself. Gush is to long oil, drip and SCO to short oil, shorting companies, producers, drip, shorting the WTI price, SCO. So Russell also, all these guys, they declined on that strong payroll, strong dollar, higher yields. You can short the Russell, SRTY. You guys were talking about SPXL, which is a way to long the Russell. We typically use UPRO. You could see the risk reward profiles are very similar. Actually, SPXL right now from bottom to top is showing a little better. Let's see, they're equal from support resistance, and near term they look pretty equal. So you could pick either one. They're both leverage 3x. So to short SPXS and SPXU, so you can see SPXU has a little bit better near term. And it has a little bit better support to resistance risk to reward profile. So again, given that data, I would go with SPXU right now. So I hope that helps. So silver, it was going up and then declined again. All the dollar-denominated commodities got hit when the dollar strengthened again. Here's our treasuries, so we could see profiles on TLT. It's not really presenting a very good risk reward at all right now. So again, I wouldn't take a position either way right now in TLT. See, TMF is a little bit better. It's looking okay. We saw it was a little bit high, so I'd kind of like it to come down to this 1050 area and then again play TMF. Checking the chat for any questions. Again, here's volatility. We typically use UVXY, SVXY, UVXY to long the VIX. And again, there's great, day trade opportunities all the time. If you're nimble, there's opportunities. The VIX has been pretty volatile, but it is retracing to its mean, so it's declining. So, if you want to take a very short-term short with SVXY, you can. We're waiting for the VIX to drop below 20, maybe 18, 16, and then we would put a long position in on UVXY, wait for some volatility catalyst. This VXX is another way to play the VIX up. It's on short-term futures. You can see the risk-reward profile. It's a little different from UVXY. It is another alternative. And then we've kind of been looking at that yen. We missed the bounce in the yen last time. We'll see if it declines or we can get a good risk reward on yen, but it's just not very attractive right now. So let me know if you have any other questions about specific categories, other ETFs you want to look at. I did want to share with you some trade ideas real quick. as well. Shopping list wise, it really hasn't changed. We still got hot inflation. We're in a technical recession. Again, everything we've been talking about for months about inflation proofing and recession proofing your portfolio. And then yesterday we also talked about, given the China sanctions based on the Pelosi visit, to also, make sure your portfolio and any stocks you're picking are not subject to a negative reaction due to any action that the Chinese might take in retaliation. So we talked about that in detail in the strategy section in part 1. So again, we'd recommend you listen to that in terms of how to make sure your portfolio is safe from any retaliatory action that the Chinese might choose to take. So I'll check the chat, grab a drink a sec, and then we'll talk about some ideas, some trade ideas I had. Okay, so in part 1, we talked about sector rotation, and with the markets being choppy, kind of testing that breakout point, being very indecisive as to a breakout point. We talked that sector rotations and trading sector rotations may be a good opportunity. So in thinking about that is I added some things that I thought would help me and hopefully help you trade these sector rotations. We've seen them trading in and out of energy. They pick the lowest performing sector and run that up for a day or two, and then rinse and repeat. So we've seen, again, energy and basic materials and gold. Well, gold's going to be more dollar denominated issues as well, but we've seen this sector rotation. So I want to see how can I make money trading that sector rotation while we wait for the markets to pick a direction. Is it going to break out, or is it going to fake us out and continue in the bear market that we've been in all year? So the first thing I did is in part 1, I went through in more detail how you can use this sector spider chart page. And I may well do a more detailed video just going through all the features of this sector spider tool. Let me know in the chat, in the Discord, etc., if that's something you all would find valuable. There's the link in the notes to this sector spider charting. We went through it in part 1, so I'm not going to go through it right now. And you can also find the link off our homepage, which is beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. In the links section, you can find links to all these tools, our trading platforms, additional resources. So there's the sector spider tool, FinViz, investing.com, etc. So also all our social media links. So quick access, just go to our homepage. You can find all the tools that we use. So again, I won't go over this guy in detail. If you all want a more detailed video, let me know. What I did, though, is I took all of those symbols for all the sectors and I put them into a new watch list in Weeble. So I go to my watch list, and I have a video on how to create a watch list in Weeble. It's linked in the notes. I'll probably add it in a comment as well. So I added one on sectors. So now in Weeble, what I can do is in real time, I can go jump over to this Weeble watch list and I can sort these guys. So right now, if I want to sort the after hours performance, so I can see which sectors are moving up, which ones are going down in real time. Again, this would be after hours. If I were during open market, again, I can just sort them ascending or descending, and I can watch these guys in real time. I can also see a little spark line chart of their trend for the day. So this will allow me to watch the sector rotation in real time. So again, you can do the same thing. Someone asked a while back if you could export a watch list from this version of Weeble, and I looked around. I wasn't able to find a way to export this, but it's not hard to do. Again, you just copy the symbols from this list, and enter them in a Weeble watch list. Or another way I'll show you in a second, it's now in our spreadsheet, so you can just copy the symbols from our spreadsheet as well. So again, that's one way I'm going to be watching the sector rotation in this watch list in Weeble in real time, so I can see who's moving up, who's moving down in real time, and then take whatever action. I can jump over to my ETF spreadsheet and say, what ETFs do I want? And you can trade these directly. A lot of people just buy XLE, buy, sell XLE if you want. We have leveraged ones and more focused ones. If I want to play, oil versus natural gas versus uranium, I have ways I can do that. But this will tell me what's moving up and down. And to answer your question, is our sector rotation somewhat predictable and hence tradable? Somewhat, what we've been seeing, it's not necessarily, nothing in the stock market's predictable, right? But things tend to work until they don't. So if you have a thesis, then you can watch to see if that thesis is playing out and act accordingly. What we've been seeing, it appears that they're taking, the worst performing sectors, and then they're running them up for a couple days. So they took, energy. The energy was down for a couple days in basic materials, and then they turned around and started running them up. So all the money started pouring from the worst performing sectors to the highest performing sectors. So this is one place to see that. Again, we showed in part one how you can chart the sector performance over time using this sector spiders. And we've also used the FinViz groups tab, and I'll just pop FinViz up while we're talking. Again, you'll see this in part one. We talked about this as well, but you can go to the groups tab and again see the 1 day performance versus the 1 week performance. So you see energy and basic materials were underperforming during the week, and then on Friday they were the top performers. So they were picking the worst performers off and pouring money into them. And I don't want to run this video too long, but part of my hypothesis in that area is, these money managers, these fund managers, they have to make, increases in their portfolio. So how do you do that? How do you keep increasing your portfolio, keep making money? Well, you have to buy something low and sell it high, right? So something's got to be moving low to high or high to low, or sell something high and buy it back low. So I think when the market's not really trending in a strong direction, one way to do that is keep rotating these sectors. So, now consumer cyclical was down, and for the week it was up. So again, they sold their profits in consumer cyclicals and bought energy is what I would interpret that to mean. So I hope that helps. So again, I'm going to be looking for those moves and seeing if I could generate income from those opportunities. So again, in a range-bound market, a choppy, flat market, that's a way to continue to make money. Rather than just wait. But waiting is fine too. So here's the link to the video on how to create a watch list. Again, you can take the symbols off that sector spider. Also, what I did is I added another sheet to our ETF Google sheet. I'll show you in a second. Here's a link to the Google Finance functions that you can use to build your own if you don't want to use our sheet. It is right now it's only open to Patreon members. It is still under construction. Again, I just did this today, but you'll now see a sectors worksheet or sheet in that Google sheet. I just put all of those symbols in there, same symbols that are in my watch list. And then I'm using the change percentage function. So the attribute I'm using in this Google Finance function is the change percent and the volume. I'm putting that data delay. I want to see how delayed the data is. Not that it's really that important. They warn you it could be delayed up to 20 minutes. I'm okay with that. Again, I'm not looking at a very quick trade in these sectors. I want to see the directions. So again, I can go in here and I can very quickly sort, this whole thing on like the change volume or change percent. So I could do that, sort, boom. Okay, there's lowest to highest, or I could flip it. I can see who's going up versus down. So I just flip that. Yeah, okay, I got my title column. So there, now I could see who's highest to lowest. So again, just another way I can very quickly jump over to my spreadsheet. I can see, okay, what sector is outperforming, underperforming, etc. Do I see any kind of rotation? Do I see excess volume in any of these sectors? And then, based on that, if I want to do energy, here's some other energy guys I can also use, or oil or natural gas, etc. So I wanted to share that all with you. A couple additional ways you can play these sector rotations. So, and welcome, Lord Byron. I'm sorry if I missed you coming in. Glad to have you in our live stream. So I believe that's all the ideas I had right now. If you guys have any questions, throw them up in the chat. If you're watching the replay of this, you can always put them in the comments, put them in our Discord, contact us via social media, etc. We'll try to reply as much as we can. If there's other tools you'd like to see us try to add to help you in succeed in any of your trading, sector rotations, determining breakouts versus breakouts, etc. As you can see, I'm a very data-driven trader, more so than technical analysis from a charting standpoint. I don't draw a lot of lines. I just use what's immediately available and benefit from that. Again, I'm a very data-driven trader, so I like automation. I'm also a very lazy trader. So EURL. I'm assuming that's one of our European EURL. Yep, right there. I believe did I take it off my watch list, or is it on my watch list? I took it off. So it's in my ETF watch list. We did have it on, I'm pretty sure. And I'll put it on again. So as you can see, it's kind of run up. So if we zoom out longer, yeah, I kind of missed the bounce on it. It looks like it might be rolling over. So if it rolls over and comes back down, I'd like another crack at it. Again, we can see the risk reward profile in our spreadsheet. So, it's not bad, but it's significantly above its support level. So again, I'd like to see it come back down a little bit, and it looks like we might get a shot. We were watching it for a while before it ran up. So if it does, we'll take a shot at it. So I hope that answers that question. Anybody else have any other questions? I'll look at any other individual stocks, trends, etc. Okay, we'll wrap up. Again, if you think of anything, please put it in the comments below this video. Hit us up in Discord. Again, you can find our Discord's free to join. You can find an invite in the description box below. And DS Greg says, I don't mind. No, I don't mind getting up early to make money either. I typically try to make the 4 a.m. Weeble open. The reason being, there's not as much volatility pre-market. The early morning, I think a lot of what Kramer used to call the pajama traders are gone now. But part of the reason I like the 4 a.m. is a lot of these leveraged ETFs, they rebalance and they will gap up or down. And sometimes there's some, outsized opportunities at, near 4 a.m. So I like to see, is there an opportunity there? I used to go back and take a nap for a while. Until the next activity is really around 7 a.m. So, you can do that. Nowadays, I typically go walk the beach since it dawns around 6:30ish here. So typically I'm on the beach for a while. And then the next one's about 8 a.m. We get a 7 a.m. scrum, an 8 a.m. scrum, and a little bit at 9, then we got the open. So yeah, I like the 4 a.m. open, so I try to make that if I can. So. And again, I'm looking for gap up, gap downs. I do have a video, DS Greg. You can search for 4 a.m. in our channel, and it shows you my pre-market process at 4 a.m. How do I trade that 4 a.m. open? So please take a look at that video, and maybe I'll post in the comments below here. So. Speculas, do you ever buy IPOs? No. No. Typically, we wait for IPOs to have a good historical data, typically a year. Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion I could talk about, how IPOs have changed over the years, but nowadays, no, we don't touch IPOs typically till we see about a year of history on it to see the trend. So. Okay, guys, thank you all for joining us in the live stream. Again, any further questions, put them in the comments below, put them in our Discord. Thank you again. It's been a great discussion. Thank you for all the good questions. Anybody else have any trade ideas they want to discuss? Again, comments below, Discord, etc. Please hit the like button if you're not already subscribed to our channel. We hope you'll choose to do so. Again, join us in the Discord. We have a Facebook group, etc. You can always hit us up and follow us on social media. And otherwise, good luck, and you all have a great trading week. Bye.